Viewers of PGurus, what I'm going to tell you today is my experiences with how a university handles restive students who are not willing to listen to order. Now, I was a student at Osmania University from 1978 to 1983. We were the last 5-year batch that did our engineering. From the next year on, they were all 4 years. So now if you take any engineering course in any university in India, you do it only for 4 years. Well, in 1978, Osmania University was celebrating its Diamond Jubilee. It was its 60th year of operations, and to celebrate that, we had the President of India, Sree Reddy, as well as the Governor of Andhra Pradesh and the Chief Minister, Chenna Reddy. Now, what had happened was the President started speaking and a bunch of students got up and started making noises, saying that we want justice, we want this, we want that. And our demands are not being met. So essentially they were interrupting the speech of the President of India. And Sree Reddy, to his credit, he just stopped speaking and he said, "What do you want, young man?" And he said, "We want to talk to the Chief Minister." And he says, "Well, he's sitting right here on the dais. You can talk to him after I talk." And they wouldn't listen. And finally, somebody had to come and escort them away. So this was my first experience of people. This student looked middle-aged, very middle-aged as a matter of fact, that, this is how people try to disrupt. And as I started easing more into a student's life, I found out that there were many 35, 40-year-old students who would never finish anything. Even when they finished one course, they would go and enroll in another course. They had like 5 Masters of Arts in various disciplines, Masters of Science, and so on and so forth. Essentially, they would just not quit the campus. So, in 1979, something more interesting happened. In 1979, the then Congress government, which was Chenna Reddy, and this was one of the few governments that was run by the Congress I standing for Indira. Congress had split. There was a Congress O, which had merged into Janata Party, and the remaining, Congress I was Indira Gandhi's party, where she always would split the party at the at the end of any elections, because the results didn't go her way. So it was always her way or the highway. So there were some who were willing to toe her highway, and that was the Congress I faction. Now, this Congress I faction was in power only in Andhra Pradesh. So presumably, Chenna Reddy had some quotas to satisfy, and the newspapers were much more independent in those days. They would talk about how much money was being carried away in suitcases from Hyderabad to Delhi. Just one aircraft carrier, Indian Airlines, and that was it. I mean, it was an open secret that money was being sent from here. So Chenna Reddy was finding new ways to create money for the party. And what he ended up doing was that he ushered in the concept of capitation fee colleges for engineering degrees, and then afterwards medicine followed a few years later. Now, what this capitation fee colleges meant was that you did not have to enroll, you didn't have to take an entrance exam like the way all the university-based education colleges did. You could essentially pay your way through, and get yourself an engineering degree. This was the first time something like that happened, and the students such as myself who had gone through the entrance test, it was a very grueling test. You took a test for the entire state of Andhra Pradesh, and based on your rank, you got a certain engineering discipline in one university, another one in another one. So you had to come up with this decision, which one you wanted to go with. And with capitation fee, all that went away. You just paid some fees and you got your admission in whichever discipline you want. Essentially, those who had gone through the hard yards felt betrayed that the education system was being watered down. In fact, one of the students had said that capitation fee education is intellectual prostitution. Those were the strong feelings of the students. Now, this movement started in 1979, started gathering steam. It started in an engineering college in Osmania University campus, of which I was a part, and then it started spreading to other campuses as all the campuses realized that people were shortchanging the education to get an engineering degree. It's a different matter now that there are many such capitation fee colleges, and also those capitation fee colleges are not really doing well. They are in a lot of financial repair right now. But I'm talking about 1979, 40 years ago, when there were fewer colleges, the education standard was a lot better. Perhaps it was because there were fewer colleges and getting in only the really good students could get into these colleges. Any rate, so the trouble started spreading to other campuses, and as a matter of fact, what had happened was in the Chenna Reddy government, there was a minister for higher education. His name was Hayagrivachari, and the students once cornered him in a room and really asked him, who are you trying to fool? Who are you collecting all this money for? How can you have somebody just pay the money without taking an entrance exam and get a same engineering degree? And he blurted out saying that, well, what this is wrong, we shouldn't be doing it. So basically he was speaking his conscience. But once the students went away satisfied, he went and gave a press conference saying that I was forced to make that statement. I stand by capitation fee colleges. So the students came back with double the vigor. There were more protests. Students started hijacking the bus to go here and there, and there were problems. The students were arrested, and the next day they had to appear in the court in front of a judge for having hijacked a bus. And guess what the students did? They hijacked another bus to go to the High Court. So that's the kind of student population we had. And in 1982, things had really come to a boil in the Osmania University campus. And then what happened was the government appointed an IAS officer, Syed Hashim Ali, and he was there for 3 years. He came in and he cleaned up the place. And after that, Osmania had a semblance of respectability, and a lot of these problems, something that is similar to what we are seeing in JNU, went away. In fact, after that, in 1999, one of my professors became the Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Sree Reddy, and he made sure that the social studies subjects like BSc, BCom and other subjects, these were made 4-year courses on par with all other courses such as engineering. So what happened was this brought the university to a certain standard like what it is in the United States. I mean, you can get a degree in 3 years in the United States, but you have to take a lot more credits to satisfy that. But at least in India, what had happened was everybody had to go through the grind, everybody had to take real exams, get real grades, and that resulted in Osmania becoming one of the top 20 schools. And I believe even today it is one of the top 20 universities for engineering in India. Now, something very similar needs to happen at JNU. This, remember, happened in 1982, 1979. The university was closed for 2 to 3 months, and then once everybody had been addressed and normalcy was restored, the only problem was when it came back, all the bandicoots were, in all these different MA disciplines, they still remained. They didn't go away. It was up to the 1982. At that point, the Vice-Chancellor came in and cleaned up all that stuff. Now, we have to have something similar to that in JNU, because what I'm seeing is the malaise that is in JNU has spread to other universities. Central University had just come online, I think in 1981 or something like that. And Central University in those days started at masters and above. You could only do masters or PhD or advanced research in Central University, the one that saw all those riots 2-3 years ago when a scheduled caste student committed suicide. So in those days, it was really the place where the advanced studies students went. Now what you're seeing, problems are in IISc in Bangalore, IIT Chennai, and also in Central University. And this is a malaise. The root of all this lies in JNU. So JNU needs to clean up. Once JNU is cleaned up, I'm sure order will return to all the other campuses. I think students have to remember and keep in mind that they come to college to get knowledge. It's not there to come and spout some philosophy or theory or politics. Politics has no place in colleges. Unfortunately, this has not been the case. student population was easy fodder for politicians to go and riot, and the very Chenna Reddy who closed down the university, when he had agitated for a separate Telangana, and that was in 1967, 68, 69, one of those years, I'm not exactly sure about which year, he would give students 5 rupees if they could bring a broken tube light. The tube lights were the street lights. The students were encouraged to throw stones at the tube lights, and if the tube light broke off and you got the broken tube light and took it to his house, and he would give them like 10 rupees. In 1969, 10 rupees was a lot of money. And so most politicians are not leaders. They are just rabble rousers. They need to understand that politics is a noble profession. Unfortunately, that has been, ignored for the most part. And it's not just India. All countries have this problem. So, long story short, I don't see how, without closing JNU for a certain amount of time, that this can be cleaned up. It's very, very sad that, you keep giving them a long rope. Long rope for what? If somebody is 45 years old and doesn't want to graduate and doesn't even want to pay a very nominal sum for staying there, I don't understand this. And I think the fees structure needs to be brought on par with other government-run universities, and there is no reason why these people should be treated with special gloves, and all for coming and shouting Bharat tere tukde tukde honge. It's very, very sad when you see what you're subsidizing their education for. So let's hope that sanity prevails soon, and the government needs to act soon. And let's hope that the Home Ministry and the Education HRD Ministry act soon and in the right way. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. And please write to us about how you felt this 4K video was. And this was an attempt to try and up our game, if you will. We want to try and bring you more high quality video casts, and hopefully this is a good trendsetter. And please don't forget to subscribe to PGurus channel. Thank you very much.